Here's what's important when you're looking to buy a dehumidifier. First of all, the pints per day or the capacity of the unit. The three most common capacities are 50 pints, 35 pints, and 22 pints. So for example, a 50 pint model is able to remove up to 50 pints of moisture per day. Now, between the most common capacities on the market, we strongly recommend the 50 pint model. So why do we make that recommendation? First of all, 50 pint models dehumidify faster. A 50 pint model dehumidifies 43% faster than a 35 pint model, and it dehumidifies 127% faster than a 22 pint model. The second reason why we strongly recommend 50 pint models is the value proposition with such models. Our market research indicates that 50 pint models are only 15% more expensive than 35 pint models. They are only 30% more expensive than 22 pint models. A 22 pint model is already expensive at around $200. So when you move up to a 35 pint model, when you move up to a 50 pint model, the difference between that approximate $200 price range and the prices of the higher capacity units, the price difference there is not that much, and you just get a much better value with those higher capacity units, especially 50 pint models. Again, a 50 pint model is 127% faster at dehumidifying than a 22 pint model. And for that difference of 127% in terms of performance, you're only paying 30% more for the 50 pint model. The third reason why we recommend 50 pint models is energy efficiency. So how does that work? Let's take a look. So every dehumidifier has three primary energy states. The first is standby mode. On standby mode, the unit is off but plugged into the wall, and it draws only about 1 watt of power. The power usage there is very low on standby mode. The second energy state is fan-only mode. So on fan-only mode, only the fan is running, only the fan is drawing power. This mode is activated when defrost mode is activated. Defrost mode is activated when frost builds up on the unit's evaporator coils, and in order to melt the frost off of the coils there, the unit will cycle off its compressor and it will only run its fan. The fan also only runs when the compressor cycles off once desired room humidity is reached. So on these dehumidifiers, you set them to a desired humidity level. So let's say you want to set the room to a desired humidity level of 50% relative humidity. What happens is the unit will cycle off once it accomplishes that goal. When it cycles its compressor off, the fan will continue to run for about 3 minutes on most models. Now on fan-only mode, most units draw about 60 or 70 watts of power. So the power draw there, while not nearly as substantial as it is when the compressor is fully cycled on, there is still quite a bit of power draw on fan-only mode. The third energy state involves the compressor fully cycling on and the fan also running. So on this energy state, this is the highest energy state. And what happens here is that the unit tends to draw more power depending on the humidity in the room. If the humidity is really high, the unit will draw more power. If the humidity is lower, the unit will draw less power. Now, most 50 pint units that we tested, they tend to draw about 600 watts, around 50% relative humidity or so, and then they tend to draw closer to 800 watts when humidity is very high. So the energy draw there varies dramatically depending on the relative humidity of the space that is being dehumidified. So when it comes down to energy efficiency for dehumidifiers, the first place that we look is Energy Star certification. And Energy Star actually publishes their requirements for different dehumidifiers. Now the requirements are different depending on the pints per day of the dehumidifier, the capacity of the dehumidifier. So let's take a look at that chart real quick. So when you look at the chart, you can see that units that have a capacity equal or less than 25 pints per day have a requirement of having an integrated energy factor equal to or greater than 1.57. Units that have a capacity greater than 25 up to 50 pints per day, those units have a more stringent requirement here in terms of the integrated energy factor. The requirement here is that those units have a integrated energy factor that is equal than or greater than 1.8. And that integrated energy factor takes into account all of those power states that we just mentioned. And the factor there is simply a ratio of the liters of moisture removal compared to the kilowatt hours of power draw there. So it's simply a ratio there. And the higher the ratio there, the more the unit has to remove in terms of liters per kilowatt hour of energy use. So clearly here, just looking at the Energy Star certification alone, you can see how higher capacity units have more stringent requirements here. Moving on to the third factor to look out for, we have CFM. Specifically, we saw that the Frigidaire FFAD5033W1 here, it offers about 20% greater CFM than most other 50 pint units on the market. And what we saw was that it dehumidified 20% faster in our test. So the CFM there compared to how quickly the unit dehumidifies in real world conditions, in a real world application, the CFM is strongly correlated to the unit's performance, and the higher CFM, the better. in terms of dehumidifying as quickly as possible. The fourth factor to consider here is noise output. Now, when evaluating dehumidifier noise output, we look at three different things. We look at the compressor noise, we look at the CFM, and we look at the exhaust location. Depending on these three things, the unit will have a certain quality of noise output and it will have a certain level of noise output. Now, compressor noise is an unpleasant noise. It makes a buzzing sound. The compressor on these units can get quite loud depending on the model, and that noise is not a pleasant noise to listen to. On the flip side of things, you have fan noise. So the fan in the unit, it pushes out a lot of air out of the unit's exhaust, and that moving air noise is a much more pleasant noise to listen to. And depending on the ratio between the loudness of the air noise and the loudness of the compressor noise, the unit is going to have a certain quality of sound. The higher the ratio of air noise to compressor noise, the more pleasant the sound. Conversely, the higher the compressor noise compared to the fan noise, the more unpleasant the noise output on the unit. Now, fan noise is, of course, directly correlated to CFM. Higher CFM units are going to push more air through there, so your air noise is going to be greater. Another factor here is the location of the exhaust. Units like the hOmeLabs on the end here have a side exhaust. Units like the Frigidaire that's closer to me here, they have a top exhaust. So depending on the location of the exhaust, the noise is distributed in different ways. On a unit with a side exhaust, that air noise is distributed in a particular direction. There is a more directional quality to the noise, the air noise coming out of the unit. On a unit like this Frigidaire, where the exhaust is on the top of the unit, that tends to distribute the noise more omnidirectionally throughout the whole room. So you have more even noise distribution with the Frigidaire than you do with the hOmeLabs. Now, this is important because, remember, we want to mask compressor noise with fan noise. And on a unit like this Frigidaire, the compressor noise is masked very well because the fan noise is distributed very evenly throughout the room. On a unit like the hOmeLabs, the air noise is more directional. And so depending on your orientation towards that exhaust, you will hear the compressor noise more or less. If you are standing directly in front of the exhaust, then the compressor noise is masked very well. Whereas if you are on the opposite side of the unit, or really any other side of the unit, the compressor noise is not going to be masked as well because you're not hearing the fan noise as loud since you're not directly in the line of sight there of that exhaust. The bottom line though, when it comes to noise output, is that you're looking for low compressor noise, you're looking for high CFM, and you're looking for a top exhaust if you want a pleasant sounding noise output. If you're looking for low noise output, just in terms of overall decibel output there, you are looking for a low compressor noise, you're looking for a side exhaust, and you're looking for low CFM because that is going to bring the overall levels, the overall noise level of the sound down much more. The fifth factor to consider here is moisture collection and removal. Now, on these compressor-based dehumidifiers, what happens is that under normal conditions, if you don't do anything with the unit other than plug it in and start running it, the unit will remove moisture from the air and it will collect the moisture in the bucket here. And depending on the size of the bucket, you will have to remove the bucket and you will have to empty the bucket and replace the bucket more or less frequently. What happens is as the bucket fills up, eventually it fills up to the top to capacity and then the unit shuts off. And what you have to do is you have to empty the bucket manually in order for the unit to resume normal operation again. So the bottom line here when it comes to bucket size is the larger the bucket, the better. The larger the bucket, the less frequently you're going to have to empty and replace it. Now, when it comes to drainage, you want to ask yourself two questions. Where is the drain outlet located and what's included for drainage? The drain access is easiest when the drain is on the back of the unit. You simply take the cap off of the drain outlet, connect the garden hose. It's very easy to connect. On the more difficult side of things, there are units that have a bracket on the side that you open up. And then what you have to do is you have to remove the front bucket here. You have to feed the garden hose through the side of the unit. You have to reach up through the bottom, and then there's a drain outlet located on the bottom of the unit inside here. And then what you have to do is you have to connect the garden hose through the bottom here. So between those two options, it's much easier just to connect the hose on the back of the unit than it is to go through the process of removing the bucket, feeding the hose to the side, connecting it, replacing the bucket. That whole process is quite a bit more difficult. Another factor to consider here is if there is a drainage adapter required for gravity drainage. Some units do come with an adapter. Some units even come with screws in an adapter. And that also involves more complexity in terms of actually connecting a garden hose to the unit to employ gravity drainage. Finally, there are also models that come with a drain hose. Now, on all of these models, you can connect a garden hose. The unit's drain outlet is threaded for a garden hose so you can connect it easily, but some models do come with a hose included. So that is definitely something to look out for as well. Unfortunately, top-rated models don't come with a hose, but there are several models on the market that do come with a gravity drain hose, which is definitely a nice bonus for those units. Another important factor to consider here is build quality. Now, When we tested these units, we tested several full-size 50-pound units, and we did test several lower capacity units as well. What happened is we definitely noticed a difference in build quality depending on the exact brand and model. There were standout models that definitely featured much better build quality, featured much better quality of materials and parts. Handling those units, you just got a feel for the fact that these units were better built with better quality parts. Now, other than our own observations and testing, another resource you can use here is consumer reviews. Consumer reviews are very helpful in identifying specific issues with specific models. What happens is over a period of time, especially if the unit has been on the market for at least a year or two, you will see in consumer reviews if there is a certain issue that keeps cropping up. And that is definitely something to be aware of, something to look out for to gauge long-term reliability on these units. Finally, you want to consider the warranty that's included with the unit. Now, we just talked about build quality. Warranty goes right along with that. With a warranty, the industry standard here is 1 year for most full-size compressor-based units. Most manufacturers simply give you a 1-year warranty that comes included with the unit. That is not to say that there are exceptions though. If you look around, you'll find that certain manufacturers do offer a slightly longer warranty. For example, hOmeLabs offers a 2-year warranty that is double the length of the industry standard 1-year warranty. So taking all of this information into account, what are our recommendations currently for current models on the market? First of all, our number one recommendation is the Frigidaire FFAD5033W1, this unit that I have right next to me here. So looking at capacity, this unit offers a full 50 pints per day of capacity. Looking at energy efficiency, this unit is fully Energy Star certified. Looking at CFM, this unit offers more CFM than any other 50-pint unit that we tested. This unit offers a full 229 CFM. Most other 50-pint units that we tested offer only about 180 to 190 CFM. So you do get a full 40 extra CFM with this particular Frigidaire unit. In terms of noise output, this Frigidaire offers everything you want. It offers low compressor noise, it offers high CFM, and it has that upward facing exhaust to really be able to mask compressor noise very well. In terms of moisture collection, this unit has the biggest bucket of any 50-pint unit that we tested. Its bucket has a capacity of 16.9 pints. The average for the 50-pint size class is closer to 13 or 14 pints. So you do get a very large bucket with this unit as well. In terms of build quality, this unit features excellent build quality. Again, we noticed a distinct difference with certain models having better build quality than others. This Frigidaire was on the side of units that do offer better build quality than most other units. So build quality is excellent with this unit. When it comes to warranty, that is the one complaint that we have with this unit. It only comes with that industry standard 1-year warranty. We definitely would have liked to see a longer warranty come with it. But on the flip side of things, this unit does offer that superior build quality, which does offset the lower warranty length to a certain extent. All around though, this is just an excellent dehumidifier, and it is our number one recommendation at this time. In terms of a number two recommendation, in terms of an alternative for the Frigidaire, we have the hOmeLabs unit on the end here. The hOmeLabs unit also offers 50 pints per day of moisture removal. The hOmeLabs unit is also Energy Star certified. Now, the hOmeLabs unit does offer something slightly different when it comes to noise output. The Frigidaire masks compressor noise very well. It produces a very pleasant sounding noise. The hOmeLabs unit also has low compressor noise, but it has a much lower CFM, and it also has that sideways facing exhaust. So with the hOmeLabs unit, the overall noise level, the quietness of the unit, it is actually a quieter unit technically, because the measured noise output is going to be less on the hOmeLabs unit. So if you're looking for a unit that maybe doesn't have as pleasing of a noise output, but you're just looking for a unit that is as quiet as possible in terms of the raw noise output there, the hOmeLabs unit is the better choice between the two units here. The hOmeLabs unit does have a much smaller bucket than the Frigidaire. It only comes with a 12.8 pint bucket. So that is definitely something to consider there with the hOmeLabs. In terms of build quality, the hOmeLabs only offers average build quality. But on the flip side of things there, the hOmeLabs does come with a much better warranty than the Frigidaire. The hOmeLabs comes with a 2-year warranty, as we talked about earlier. Overall, the hOmeLabs offers a great alternative to the Frigidaire. It is not the best dehumidifier we tested. That title belongs to the Frigidaire. But if you are looking for things like lower noise output overall, if you're looking for a unit with a longer warranty, the hOmeLabs is also an excellent choice.